one of the issues we had at the last race was pit stop time. It takes us a long time to fill with a regular gas can when everybody else has dump cans, but not exactly going to spend, $1,000 on a dump can setup right now. So we're going to modify a normal 5-gallon racing gas can, and we're going to see how much faster it can dump. So for this little simulation, right, this right here is basically representing like the Can-Am filler neck. It's within about an inch or two of height or so, because what we're going to do is we're going to put a better vent system on that can, and we're also going to put a ball valve on it. That way you can have the can already on your shoulders and just open the ball valve versus having to feed it up here. So for this kind of our baseline run, right, that black mark, 5 gallons, as you can see, it's right there at the top of that black mark. So let's time it and let's see how fast essentially our control is going to be. All right, so now I'm even going to crack this bleeder open a little bit to begin with. Okay, so because you're going to be starting, from something like this when the car comes in, right, and the car's going to come in and stop, then you're going to go. So 1, 2, 3, go. Now we wait a while. This is just water, by the way, not gas. I don't know if I said that or not.
2 hours later.
Almost. Getting there. And time.
1 minute, 34 seconds.
We're speedy. Okay, let's modify this thing, and then we'll come back. We'll redo it again. And just for the sake of consistency, I put a little mark here on the ground of where I filled it. That way the level of the can is going to be the same, so there'll be the exact same amount of fluid in it. So let's go modify this thing. As you guys could tell, that was rather slow, especially considering it's a race and that was only a half a tank of fuel. So what we're going to do is this little this little breather on here is only like a 3/16 hole. So we are going to change it to a 3/4 inch hose. The hose is going to go from the bottom of the tank. All right, it's going to come out the side, and then go, back down to the bottom of the tank. That way, when you tip it up, right, the air will basically be able to go through it, and it's not going to have to essentially pull the air through the gasoline into the tank. So I went down to Home Depot this morning. I'll put a link to all this stuff down there so that way you guys can see. But anyway, got a 3/4 inch NPT elbows, and then I just had several O-rings hanging around, so I threw an O-ring on here. So clear one will go inside the tank, right? You're gonna drill a hole here. The blue one go on the outside of the tank, and then we'll run our hoses down. The other thing that we're gonna do, because when you have to stab the gas can in, and then because these are kind of awkward when they're full, right? You have to stab it in, and then you have to lift all of this extra weight with your wrist in the wrong spot. I'm gonna put a ball valve on here so that you can have it positioned like this, walk right up to the car, stab it in, and just twist the ball valve and start the flow of gas. So that's the other thing that we're gonna do, and I think that will help the whole system be even faster. I know that changing the breather will be faster, and then I also know that, that wasted time of trying to get it in there and reposition, I know that will also waste time. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drill a hole in here, and we'll get all that stuff set up. So one of the things that I was just thinking about is getting the orientation of this stuff to be, not in your way when you're trying to fill the car. Probably fairly important, right? You don't want everything positioned, I guess incorrectly, because, so all of us, like on our pit group, are all right-hand dominant. So probably that means the right-hand side of your body is the strongest, so you're probably gonna want to put the gas can on the right-hand side of your body, which means your ball valve should probably be over here on the left side of the can as opposed to over here, because then it would kind of be a little awkward, right? It'd be a lot easier just to have it just like this, so you can just flip it, flip it and open it, whoops, and close it. Then that means that your vent hose probably should not come out on this side, it should come out on this other side over here. That way, again, it's not in your way. So, little pro tip. Alright, so ball valve system is mocked up. Now, start drilling. That's just the side I said to put it on, right? It's opposite that. Okay. 1 inch hole will fit this 3/4 inch fitting. So the one caveat here is you need to make sure that either you have a gas can with a large enough mouth or that you have someone with small enough hands to reach down in here and put this thing in. Now, thread this thing on here. Don't know if that O-ring is totally going to seal up, but we're going to find out. Alright, throw a zip tie around here on your handle, and then I'll probably get like some of those glue-on zip tie thingies, you know, so glue one here, 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 that way we can zip tie this hose down the length of the can. But for now, let's go test it. Okay, if anything, that is a tiny bit more than there was last time. So, let's see how well it does this time around. Okay, close valve. Definitely close. Alright, car comes in. So, 3, 2, 1, go.
A few moments later.
Okay, get ready, and stop. So,
43 seconds.
43.
Almost 44.
So last time it was a minute 34, right? Which is 94 seconds, so it's half. And make sure you glue that together, actually, though. Wow, so half. I'd say that's a win. Heck yeah, it's a heck of a lot easier to deal with. So, cool. Saved ourselves a lot of money. The makeshift dump can is finished. So, added, you know, some little zip tie, you know, I don't know, like double back sticky tape thingies on there. And then also cut the bottom of the hose off, so it's about 1 inch off the ground or so. One thing to note that I did not think about until I did this is basically you're going to set this, like if you're doing desert racing or off-road racing, right? You're going to set this can down in the dirt somewhere. You're going to get a little bit of dirt, probably, around the bottom of this hose. And then, once everything starts to dump, it's going to pull a vacuum up that hose, which will probably suck a little bit of the dust up with it. So, be sure to set it on like a tarp or something like that so it stays nice and clean. Otherwise, did you know, put a new nozzle on here and stuff, new hose and everything, and also put some Oetiker clamps on here because Ali brought up a good point. What if somehow something happens, you know, gasoline slowly eats that away and the end of it falls off in the Can-Am fuel tank at some point? That would be less than ideal. So did that just to be safe. But there you go, redneck fuel dump can. So we did upsize this hose, and with this hose upsized, it was just like a 3/4 inch hose, and so the inside diameter of these fittings were about a 1/2 inch or so. So before, you know, with this bottom part done, you know, the ball valve and then like the original hose on there, it did it in 43 seconds. This way, with a little bit larger hose, it now will dump 5 gallons in 32 seconds. So I'm calling that a win. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description to all the stuff that we used. That way, if you guys want to make your own, you know, redneck dump can, you can. So, all right, guys, that's all for me today. Thanks.